Nearly 2 years ago, I finally checked out the Half-Life series for the very first time, and as I said in my episode's review, joined the rest of you miserable fools in the infinite wait for the ever-elusive Half-Life 3. Hello! Shut up! So I thought I would do the Half-Life community a big ol' favor and rank every single Half-Life chapter from worst to best in the hopes of reverse psychologying Valve into finally releasing Half-Life 3, immediately outdating this video.
No need to thank me.
Now, before we get into my rankings, I just want to quickly lay out a few ground rules. Next, I'd like to thank everybody who commented on my last video, and thank you so much for your patience in waiting for this one. I hope this will be worth the wait. Leave a comment for a chance to be featured in my next video, and my biggest thanks of all go to my lovely, patient patrons. Stin, Dotman, Brian, Angel, Defoe3, Bradley, Micah, Dominique, Tabriz, Bryce, Victor, Preppy, Drake, and Lagoon. With all of that out of the way, let's at long last dive into every Half-Life chapter, ranked from worst to best. And now, starting off our list all the way at the bottom, the worst Half-Life chapter is Gonarch's Lair. Now, I just want to state that just because there inevitably has to be chapters ranked towards the very bottom does not make them bad, because even the worst Half-Life chapters are still, at the very least, serviceable gaming experiences. Gonarch's Lair, however, is the one exception. I'm sorry, this just fucking sucks, not just for Half-Life standards, but for general gaming standards, period. The big bitch just runs away pretty much the entire time, hardly ever actually attacking, and when it does attempt to attack, it's pathetic. Awful. Just terrible. I do feel bad for Valve, of course, though, because they clearly ran out of time and just had to get the game done at this point. They say as much in the Half-Life 1 doc.
We, at some point, have to stop polishing. At some point, we have to, like, it is what it is. And if the player hasn't had fun up until that point, well, then we failed. They're not going to get to that point, so who cares? It just has to finish, and it did.
Yeah, and there's always Half-Life 2 to win them back.
It's a real shame that they couldn't create something more satisfactory here. And now, for the second worst chapter in all of Half-Life. Believe it or not, another Half-Life 1 chapter. Residue Processing. I didn't make a single note about this chapter. It is such a strange low point for Half-Life 1. For me personally, it's a complete chore to play. This is all of Half-Life 1's worst aspects lumped into one chapter, built entirely upon Half-Life 1's horseshit platforming, navigating this industrial maze. Just delete this chapter from the game. I would not miss it in the slightest. And now, coming third from the bottom of this list, this one may surprise some people. Half-Life 2's Entanglement. What an odd chapter. Well, first, let's see what I enjoyed about it. That's it. Okay, for real, let's lead with the positives, because this chapter does have a couple good things going for it. On paper, at least. For one, you finally get reunited with Alex after being separated right before Ravenholm. Even then, though, the two of you are constantly pulled apart on and off throughout the chapter, with Alex continually leaving you to your own devices. Literally, as you engage in super tedious turret defense sections over and over again. There's some interesting story development with the supposed heel turn of Mossman. Again, it's a nice idea, but just a lot of this chapter in execution just feels like the total antithesis of everything Half-Life is supposed to be. Lots of cutscenes where you basically have to stand around and listen, or just stand around letting turrets do a majority of the fighting for you. There's so much watching and waiting, but even just beyond what's contained in this chapter itself, I think the biggest thing working against this chapter's ranking for me is I loved every chapter Half-Life 2 had to offer up to this point, and this chapter brings all that fun to a screeching halt. Entanglement ends, interestingly enough, though, with another twist, as the teleporter from Nova Prospekt back to the lab somehow managed to get you and Alex stuck in time for a week, returning you to a world that's been turned even more so on its head since you two were last seen. Up next, we have the first entry from Half-Life Blue Shift. Duty calls. And it's a pretty dull start to the campaign. There's no unique weapons or implementation of any new mechanics here. There is a cool moment where you can see the military dumping the bodies of security guards, alerting you to the fact that they're definitely not here to save you. But yeah, gameplay-wise, minimal combat, no thought-provoking puzzles or platforming really. Not the best start for Blue Shift, but things will get better from here.
So I guess today is the big day, huh? The big guy was pretty excited when he came in earlier. He was talking about the new guy, Dr. Freeman. I just hope everything goes well today.
Things, in fact, did not go well today. Speaking of dull starts, up next we've got the first chapter from Half-Life Decay. So, I never actually properly reviewed this one, unlike all the other Half-Life games. Damn, I even gave Hunt Down the Freeman a video, but not this. Oh well. Honestly, Decay is fine. It's the weakest of the 3 expansions by a good chunk in my opinion, and that will obviously be made evident by where its chapters rank as this video goes on, so the first Half-Life Decay chapter to feature on this list is its first chapter, Dual Access, where you play as 2 female scientists, Gina Cross and Colette Green. You two assist in setting up the experiment for Gordon Freeman, once again with the universe sending every possible warning sign, begging, pleading with you not to go forward with the test.
You know, theoretically, this is impossible.
We all know this is a bad idea, but nonetheless we go through with it anyway, and things go kablooey. The two of you then fight off the invading aliens and make your way back to Dr. Keller's office to formulate a plan with him and Dr. Rosenberg to put a stop to the invasion.
Oh, we're back here.
Damage to our equipment and the extent of the cascade. Maybe I can find a
No!
clue as to what
You
went
killed
wrong,
him!
how we can right-
Oh, I wasn't supposed to kill him? Oh, fuck.
It's not a bad setup by any means, it's fine, but it's the weakest of all the game's intros in my opinion. Next up, we've got another Half-Life Decay chapter, Code Green, which is all about putting a stop to the chokehold the military has over the facility, battering your way through waves and waves of soldiers before entering the all-clear codes and lifting the military air traffic lockdown. It's some intense co-op combat, and it's fine. Moving on.
Can't afford to lose this equipment. It's our only find a way to raise the beacon and for heaven's
How did that just... It just fell and then went back up. Another Half-Life Decay chapter. Crossfire has you fighting your way through drainage canals before raising the prototype displacement beacon to the surface. Again, it's fine.
Alright, see ya.
Big guy.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, would you look at that? Another Half-Life Decay chapter. This one has us searching the level 3 dormitories to find any lucky security guard who by some miracle may still be alive at this point, and who also knows the launch code so we can get our satellite array sent into orbit so that we can close off the rift from Zen once and for all. This chapter's host to some interesting settings, at least, like the dorms themselves, a library, and a pool, which you can even dive into.
Yep.
But, once again, all in all, it is fine. For half the game, I feel like Decay doesn't really maximize on the co-op potential, but let's see just how much that changes from here.
That's right, Barney. This is a red letter day.
Gordon's escape and subsequent apprehension at the hands of the Combine is put to a sudden halt by a mysterious new face. And yes, the facial animations and all that jazz were revolutionary at the time of release, but nowadays this is just a cutscene. This is all well and good, there's nothing wrong with this chapter, it sets the stage perfectly fine, but on replays, it's just something you have to do.
Where is he?
Behind you.
And with that, you're left with no choice but to venture to Black Mesa East on foot. Well, it's not all bad. Could have ended up like that cat incident.
I still have nightmares about that cat.
No, there's nothing to be nervous about.
cat?
We've made major strides since then. Major strides.
What cat?
Back to Blue Shift now, we've got Blue Shift's introduction. Living Quarters Outbound, and Insecurity. The intro on a whole is very similar to the start of Half-Life 1. You don't get as much of an in-depth look at the inner workings of the facility here, since you're a mere low-level security guard, of course, but it is charming to spectate the more casual, everyday happenings around Black Mesa. I mean, come on, that cafeteria looks like a sick spot for lunch. Give me that Big Tony pizza! As a security guard, you even get to view security footage from around the facility, observing Gordon heading down to the labs,
Good morning, Gordon.
and the lady from Decay preparing the crystal needed for his experiment. It's also hilarious to see how much the scientists seem to loathe these bum-ass security guards.
Who is responsible for this mess?
Don't ask me.
Shouldn't you be guarding some donuts and coffee right about now?
Oh, I'll make sure they regret not putting some respect on my name. This intro's good. I don't like it nearly as much as Half-Life 1's or even Opposing Forces intros, but for your role in the story here, I appreciate its simplicity.
Let's try this.
Bouncing back to Decay, we've got Hazard Course.
And I thought you said no training courses on this list.
Okay, I kinda lied. No, this isn't an actual tutorial section, but this is a level that takes place in a tutorial section. Here, teamwork begins to take a bit more precedence, with moments where somebody has to stay behind and deactivate security systems so you can move ahead unharmed, and then the person who is let through can power off the security for real so that you can both advance unharmed. That's the intention at least, but we're stupid. And by we, I mean me.
Alright, there's more enemies. Oh my god! What
Or deactivate fans so you can actually move ahead to make more progress. The novelty of turning a training course into an actual level is pretty clever, but this chapter is still barely scraping the surface of what Decay is capable of.
Get in!
Speaking of the surface, we've got Surface Call, another Half-Life Decay chapter. Surface Call has the players attempt to power a satellite communication center in order to contact the military for help. Not Rosenberg's brightest idea. This chapter's tougher than I was expecting, honestly. There's a lot of Vortigaunts coming for your ass here, and by the time this chapter was done with me, I had to let my friend do the rest of the work, because I was one Vortigaunt zap away from death. There's also this little minecart puzzle that took way longer to figure out than it should have, but yeah, this chapter's good.
Okay, there we go.
Excellent. We should now have a working uplink. I'll test it.
Testing! Ah! Do you read?
Wouldn't you know it? Another Half-Life Decay chapter. In Resonance, Dr. Keller sends the players off to reset the dampening fields in order to prevent the resonance cascade from worsening, as the rift between Earth and Zen is only growing stronger. This is another intense chapter.
Oh my fucking god!
Filled with tons of aliens around every corner, and aliens right up your ass as you attempt to reset the fields. The final section is super stressful, as one of you have to go out on your own to lock this thing in place while being attacked by dozens of waves of the 9th controllers. I couldn't hear a word Dr. Keller was saying, so I had no idea what exactly I was doing or if I was doing anything right, but whatever I did worked, thank God, because I was yet again at death's door and a blow away from entering.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. I had no idea if we were doing anything right.
And now it's time for our first Half-Life Alyx entry, Super Weapon. Honestly, nothing noteworthy really happens here. Some of these Juggernaut Combine enemies are introduced, but that's it. It's a short chapter and it's another subway station, which is kind of repetitive at this point in the game. Definitely not a bad chapter, just unremarkable. And going back to back, we've got another Half-Life Alyx chapter in Revelations. With the vault brought down and the emergency backup force field activated, we've got to head out to disable it before we can make it inside the vault and figure out what the hell is in there. Along the trek over there, we overhear an unknown woman implying that the thing being kept inside the vault is none other than the Gordon Freeman, which is far and away the most interesting part of this chapter. There's also the big fight in the train yard with the leggies, which I'm over by this point. Just get me to the vault. Really interesting story development. Other than that, could go without this chapter. Yeah, this 9th boss fight isn't as bad as I remember it being, but it's still pretty annoying. I can't stand the constant teleportation. It's one of the most tedious boss fights I've ever had the displeasure of playing through. The G-Man's unveiling truly salvages the end of Half-Life 1 for me. And from the end of Zen, we go to the beginning with the chapter Zen. The atmosphere does all the heavy lifting here. I love the atmosphere of Zen. And I love Black Mesa's interpretation of Zen too, but this version is just so cool. It's got a much more alien feeling about it. Fuck the platforming though. Dog ass. Anytime Half-Life 1 tries to do any sort of vertical platforming, it just doesn't work. Atmosphere and vibes and simply the novelty of being here drag this up from being rock bottom. Dark Energy is a brilliant ending in the sense that the first time I played this, I completely forgot about the G-Man by the end of the game, so this took me by complete surprise. As cool as that was though, this did basically just end things in the exact same open-ended manner Half-Life 1 was left, which, yes, was awesome, but to pull that again here in the sequel, after how much Earth has changed and everything we've gone through, this just felt anticlimactic. I mean, I'll take this final boss, if you can even call it that, over the Nihilanthe for sure, but I was hoping to see more of a definitive follow-up from the impact of our actions and everything we've pulled off to this point, but instead, this finale feels directionless. Hell, G-Man basically says himself, sorry for this weird ending, I promise we'll make sense of this later on. Oh well, I still had fun.
I'm in the handicap thing with him.
What?
I'll use them to start the resonance reversal. Those crystals will be far more...
Jesus Christ.
Follow me.
Rift is the last official mission of Half-Life Decay, and has you two working together to defend the displacement beacon, in the hopes of severely weakening the resonance cascade. This defense mission naturally has you fending off waves of Zen creatures or typical Vortigaunts and alien grunts, who were briefly dropped off by the alien crafts. They're so cool, I wish we got to see them more often. Like the ending of Blue Shift, our characters enter a stage of harmonic reflux, teleporting way too much all over the place, my eyes, and the game ends with you two surviving, being teleported out of harm's way in the nick of time before the beacon self-destructs. Honestly, considering this is the final level of Decay, this was surprisingly easy considering just how difficult some of the earlier chapters are. And now it's time for our first entry from Half-Life Opposing Force, Friendly Fire. This chapter's host is some fairly interesting settings, combating aliens throughout this weird lobby and even in a conference room. Eventually though, you make it to the surface and meet up with a medic and some more soldiers who assist you in fighting off the invading Black Ops. Well, they assist you as much as the game lets them.
I got your six!
After time mostly spent combating Race X in the previous chapter, the package refocuses primarily on the Black Ops. You fight your way through a mortar field, neutralize their helicopter, and then head down to the parking garage below the facility to find that the Black Ops are scheming to blow the Black Mesa facility to smithereens. Naturally, you defuse the bomb, only to find the G-Man immediately resetting it. That sly hound. Okay, so I like Pitworm's Nest, but this is a knockoff version of Blast Pit. Instead of clever puzzles, intricate platforming, and genuinely unsettling ambience, it's just run around, hit a button, take another path, turn a valve, and that's it. And instead of unsettling ambience, it's annoying ambience with the constant eagle screeches. Having said all that, I still enjoy this chapter for what it is, but it's clear what they were trying to replicate, and it's just not done nearly as well.
I don't know whether soldiers under orders to silence the facility or these vile aliens.
Damn, I just saved your life, but okay, screw you then. The water room below the ceiling in the beginning of this chapter is annoying, but the boiler room with the gnomes is pretty cool. Fellas, hear me out. You also encounter your first Race X alien face-to-face here in the form of the pit drones, partake in some nice puzzle platforming, and finally get reacquainted with your comrades. Yes! Back to back once again, we've got another Opposing Force chapter. Crush Depth. This chapter is actually pretty interesting. For one, it makes me laugh.
Thank you for releasing me.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
You've also got a diverse cast of enemies to combat between little Race X critters, zombies, and traversing ichthyosaur-infested waters, which is always heart-pounding stuff. And even from a visual perspective, this is one of the most varied color palettes I can remember from a Half-Life 1 game. You've got blues, reds, teals, yellows, and to top it all off, you finally face off against that Race X creature you saw at the beginning of Opposing Force, and acquire yourself a pretty nifty new weapon to show for it as well. The Shock Roach rocks. Crush Depth is a neat chapter, and I really need to get back into Abiotic Factor.
Finally, fresh air. Oh my god.
It's fresh air, alright.
Striders really tore the hell out of this place.
The sun is leaking. The sun is
Great.
leaking.
Okay, let's get to the train yard before the Citadel
The
blows.
sun is leaking. The sun
What's
is
up with
leaking.
Dr. Kleiner?
The sun is leaking. The sun is leaking.
I swear to God, I completely forgot I had that mod installed. Unfortunately, that's about as interesting as this chapter gets. Well, that's a bit harsh. This chapter is basically more Anti-Citizen 1, but instead of dumbass companions, you have Alex, which is not as fun because she's not a dumbass. Instead, she's useful. Ugh. There are some interesting moments like this 1v1 against a gunship as it dismantles the roof of this hospital bit by bit, and I do enjoy the interplay you get between NPCs and other characters as well.
Embryonic development was selectively prevented from forming.
My dad's a
This is no
I don't have many more of these, so try not to lose this one, okay? Go on across, Gordon. She's waiting for you. You lucky dog, you.
And now it's time for our first episode 2 ranking, Under the Radar. This chapter has us take out some of the Combine's forces while we wait for our car to get fixed up at the shop, so we can continue our trek towards White Forest. I do enjoy the stealth section in the junkyard a good bit, taking down zombies and other pests while you make your way towards the warehouse the Combine are stationed at to disarm their forces. When you return to the garage, you find out that the guys were nice enough to also upgrade your vehicle with a little beacon sensor to alert you of supply caches nearby, which is pretty nifty. I get the same vibes here as like the secret root caves from Crash 1 where Cortex's face is engraved into the cave walls. I don't know, that's my rotted Crash Bandicoot brain coming out. The other half of this chapter tasks you with fending off waves of Combine soldiers and hunters, which I've had my fill of by this point. Please, I just want to get to White Forest. Your final obstacle on the way to White Forest, of course, happens to be a Strider, but our good boy Dog makes his triumphant return and just demolishes the thing. God damn! I almost feel bad. And then we race Dog to White Forest. Huzzah! Arms Race is one of the most action-packed chapters Half-Life Alyx has to offer. There's not much I feel inclined to go in depth about, it's just a lot of guns blazing, but yeah, it's fun and the music is funky and rad. There's a break in the action with an explosives maze where you have to defuse tripwires in order to stop yourself from fucking exploding.
I just tried to turn the camera!
Which was an enjoyable section as well. The Northern Star is the pinnacle of QZ nastiness. Well, it's really close to being so anyway. This hotel is one of my favorite settings in the franchise. It introduces the lightning dogs, which, while kind of annoying, are still pretty sick. Being able to reanimate dead zombies. It's like reanimation inception. Then there's that disgusting head crab den. Ugh. Fucking terrible. Burn it. Just burn it. This is one of those chapters that I feel like I should like more, but I just don't for whatever reason. But it's still pretty good.
There's nothing Gordon can't handle, with the possible exception of you.
Dad, please.
I love the juxtaposition of Mossman's yapping with all the actually interesting stuff going on in the background. You can also scan around yourself and read up on the origins of the Combine's invasion, which provides some nice foreshadowing of events to come in episode 2. The foreshadowing of Ravenholm is a little bit on the nose, but it's effective nonetheless. And yeah, I know people think that this gravity gun section is uncharacteristically handholdy for Half-Life, but I don't even think it's so much about handholding the player and having a lack of confidence in them to understand how this works. Valve just knows how impressive this tech was, especially for the time, and they simply wanted to show it off. And I mean, look at it! Valve's earned the right to swing their dick around as much as they want. Most of all though, I love that this is the first bit of normalcy Gordon's experienced since the incident. This is seriously the first time since that microwave casserole that Gordon gets to relax even just a little bit. For a moment, we slip backwards to simpler times, but we are immediately snapped back to reality and reminded that the world we once knew is gone, and the new world is a much darker and scarier place. And I'm taking Dog's ball with me to help make it through. Ah, the Lambda Core. The introduction of the glue-on gun.
I built the glue-on gun, but I just can't bring myself to use it on a living creature.
I can. Overall, Lambda Core is a good chapter. I enjoy the valve pump stuff, but the teleporter guessing game just gets on my nerves, not gonna lie. But that's the only part I don't like. The combat against the Black Ops is fun, and meeting with the Lambda team and being sent to Zen, that's what we've been waiting for. It's too bad we did all that waiting, only for Zen to turn out the way it did.
Get back here, Freeman! Freeman!
Okay, I know We Are Not Alone is a super short chapter, literally like 3 minutes. It probably shouldn't even be this high up just because of that, but I can't find it in my heart to put it any lower because I absolutely love everything about this chapter. Nearly catching up with Gordon jumping into Zen from the Lambda Core chapter and going in after him, only to fail by attempting to create a temporal paradox. What great attention to detail. It's so awesome they even let you attempt that. You then go through where you're supposed to go, are greeted by the hilarious death of a Nazi, and acquire the displacer cannon, which is one of my favorite weapons in the entire franchise. This thing not only teleports enemies, but can even teleport yourself around. It's easily one of the coolest things this series has ever come up with. It's amazing. Episode 1's direct interventions got a real nice atmosphere about it. The ambient music is phenomenal, and there's some beautiful contrasting colors. But the gameplay as a whole is fairly repetitive. The puzzles here are much of the same thing throughout, and then having played this back-to-back with Half-Life 2, I was like, alright, the super gravity gun is kinda losing its fun at this point. But there's some massive story implications to be had here, and great foreshadowing that continues to keep things rolling. Finally, the Stalker car crash ending the chapter is pretty unsettling. Alex has always shown herself to be very happy-go-lucky, so to see her horrified like this is really sad. With our plans of escaping City 17 by train thwarted, we must now navigate the zombie-infested subways to find a way back to the surface. Subway. Eat flesh. So proud of that joke, I just had to make it again. Lowlife does a lot of interesting things, like using the gravity gun to plug antlion nests with cars, or the fact that much of the chapter is in pitch black darkness, that's new. Or how about the fun interplay between Gordon and Alex? And by interplay, I really just mean Alex yapping. Like her sharing the story she'd heard that Gordon and Barney used to compete in vent races back at Black Mesa, and of course, there's the Zombine joke, which almost feels like Valve thought of the joke first and then created Zombines just to be able to make the joke. The final sequence where you have to fend off hordes of zombies in the dark is spooky stuff. I hate it, but that's also why it's so good. And all things considered, despite being low life, ended up smack dab in the middle of my rankings.
Whoa, it's okay, sir, I can take it. All those springs, they're everywhere. We've got to get out of here. Hold yourself together. If we don't get the power cell charged, we're all going to die. Look out! Get out of here! I can...
Let's hop back over to Blue Shift now with what is practically its penultimate chapter, Power Struggle. This has you venture beneath the teleportation labs to retrieve a power cell to power up the teleporter for one final escape to get you and some scientists out of the Black Mesa facility. The rest of this chapter is pretty good, but to get this out of the way now, this chapter is host to one of the strangest puzzle solutions I've ever seen from this series, where it appears the military was attempting to blow up this door but failed, and the solution is for you to stick a metal barrel in the middle to properly link the charges and blow the door open. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I never would have thought to try that on my own. And judging by the comments on this walkthrough, a lot of people didn't think to do that either. Come on, fellas, get in here. We can share the brain cell. Despite that folly, this chapter is pretty good. The tension down here is palpable, with the military and Zen creatures creeping around every corner, and the sense of unease is amplified by the flickering lights and dimly lit red and blue hues filling the hallways. Finally, there's some creative puzzle platforming to be done as well before meeting back up with that security guard you saw be attacked at the beginning of Power Struggle.
Let me see if I can get out of the way.
It never fails to make me laugh.
Hey, you wouldn't have a quarter I can borrow, would ya?
Switching back to opposing force now, we've got We Are Pulling Out.
We? Who's we?
This is a short but solid little chapter. Gameplay-wise, there's nothing that stands out too much, but the intro for Race X is sick.
What is that, Doc?
I don't know. I've never seen that species before.
It's okay, sir. I can take him. Just a little damage, but I can make it.
No! I don't want to die!
It's nice that they don't immediately start throwing Race X right at you after this cutscene too. It takes like another hour before you begin to encounter them again, so that time waiting to re-encounter them really adds intrigue to their presence here. The use of the same transmission being made here that Gordon hears at the end of Surface Tension is also a smart way of informing you of when exactly during the Black Mesa incident this is taking place.
Come in, Cooper. Do you copy? Forget about free.
You have any last bomb targets? Mark them on the tactical map. Otherwise, get the hell out of there.
And finally, the betrayal here by the G-Man is great.
What a sick joke!
It's a bit confusing considering he just saved your life 10 minutes ago, but that really makes you wonder just what purpose he has in mind for you by keeping you here. And while we're at it, I guess I'll talk about Forget About Freeman. I absolutely love the opening to this chapter. It's nothing short of complete chaos. This is really just more surface tension, but underground. So they can't call it that anymore. It's a fairly short but sweet chapter featuring some frenetic combat. Not much else to say, it's just a ton of kick-ass gameplay. God, the Tau Cannon's the best.
Up those.
Had to get that out of my system.
Oh my god, finally! A chapter from Decay that I really like! So here you have to make your way through the alien quarantine labs, and they've got all these vortigons and head crabs being poked and prodded, which is pretty cool to see. Then you get to this color-coded laser puzzle, and realize somebody should have actually stayed behind at the beginning of the lab so they can solve the other half of the puzzle. So naturally, you fight to the death to reset the level.
No!
From there, one person stays back to raise and drop shields, while the other color codes the lasers to properly power the correct crystals. Easily the best puzzle Decay has to offer, in my opinion. And once you've done that, you have to fight your way through swarms of alien scum back to the warm, safe clutches of that legless bum, Dr. Keller. With the power cells secured, we're finally ready to get the hell out of Black Mesa. You have to assist Rosenberg in powering up the teleporter every time, with the stakes gradually rising each trip, with Zen and the military hot on your tail. You, of course, are the last person to go, so you're left to initiate the final trip yourself and escape just in time before the military can neutralize you. Your final teleport's a bit of a finicky one though, as you're suddenly flung to Zen and back to Earth, but right near the site of Gordon's apprehension. Luckily, you get teleported one last time back outside the facility, reunited with Rosenberg and co. Considering the endings to Half-Life 1 and Opposing Force, a happy ending here was a nice change of pace. Blue Shift starts off slow, but all in all, ends off quite strong. While we've established that most of Zen is unfortunately a crapshoot, Interloper is actually decent. Although I find the beginning of the chapter annoying, trying to jump onto the alien ships flying by, and then the spamming of the mini-lance towards the end is a bit excessive, everything in the middle is really strong. For starters, this section where you have to scale the cliff sides and pick off the different enemies from behind cover is a lot of fun, along with one last encounter with the Gargantua who's tormented you sporadically throughout the game. But now, with your arsenal maxed out, it's super satisfying being able to take them out yourself. You even get some more chances to once again soak in the Zen atmosphere. For me, I can't help but make comparisons to the old Spyro games in their skyboxes here. What's the name of that one level? Hurricos, I think? Like the lightning level? That's what this reminds me of. And of course, if you're not an impatient Nimrod like myself, when you enter the alien grunt cloning facility, you'll notice that the Vortigons here are docile, because in reality, they're simply being controlled by the Nine Lanth and its controllers. So a very subtle but crucial story beat to be had here as well. Like I said, though the rest of the chapter isn't great, it isn't terrible either. On the whole, Interloper is solid and easily the best of Zen Half-Life 1 has to offer, but not quite the best of Zen for the whole franchise.
Where are we taking this Freeman guy? Topside for questioning. What the hell for? We got him. Let's kill him now. And if they find the body? Body? What body?
Apprehension gets off to a frantic start, sending your tram off a rail and plunging it into the Challenger Deep. You find yourself navigating a briny maze before spotting the creature. This chapter is carried by specific moments, capped off, of course, by... The gameplay itself here isn't anything too exciting to me, but your apprehension makes for a captivating cliffhanger. You also lose all your weapons at the end because fuck you.
Leggy! Oh no, dead.
That's an antlion, Russell.
That's an antlion?
Yes. So you do know what antlions are.
Yes, they're leggies.
Half-Life Alyx's captivity, for me, is one of the coolest settings in the whole franchise. A leggy overrun zoo, it's just like the perfect playground for this series. I also like that you actually have to shoot the leggy's limbs in order to incapacitate them. It makes them a more formidable opponent. I love the jungle area where zombies come stumbling out from beyond the trees. It's almost got me feeling like I'm playing Shangri-La or something. Also, the revelation Eli makes of the Combine's vault being this thing that they built around an apartment building to trap whatever weapon they found is like, what? There's a lot of good combat and puzzle sections here, nothing too intense, so it serves as a nice cooldown from, you know.
Where the hell are we anyway?
Well, the pilot thought we were heading to your mother's house. So far, this all looks familiar.
Unlike the other Half-Life 1 expansions, Opposing Force begins with a bang. I love this intro. Some nice bro-dude dialogue and even a little reference to surface tension in the background before being abruptly interrupted by the interdimensional invasion. The cinematics with the crash of your helicopter and the hopping between scenes is executed well too, strongly capturing the chaotic nature of the situation.
These crabs can completely control their host's nervous system. Can you imagine what the next stage of mutation looks like?
I do got a dog on this dumbass though. All you had to do was flip this switch 15 feet away from you, and instead you ended up in the familiest of guy poses I've ever seen. Overall, some pleasant NPC interactions, awesome weaponry. I dig the night vision, even if it's way too goddamn bright, and it's also neat to venture through some of the areas you saw right at the start of Half-Life 1. A great start to a great expansion pack. And from the beginning, we jump to the end with Opposing Forces' final chapter, Worlds Collide. The combat inside the warehouse is a cool section, even if the crates and shit are way too fucking loud. The final boss is respectable as well, and honestly, I kinda love the dark ending for Adrian, just being banished to purgatory after everything he's been through and how hard he's fought to survive. Against all odds, and this is his reward.
I'm sure you can imagine there are worse alternatives.
And to add insult to injury, despite his efforts to prevent it from happening, Black Mesa is blown to bits. Like G-Man said. Guess it could be worse though, right?
Adrian?
No, it can't.
You're my new hero.
And now it's time for another ending with Half-Life 2 Episode 1's Exit 17, which has you escorting civilians out of City 17. And yeah, the escorting part is really tedious with you just wandering back and forth to grab and send off more citizens, but the final sequence is so crazy tense that it more than makes up for all that. And unlike Half-Life 2's ending, this cliffhanger rules, with all the advisor pods being sent out across the planet as the Citadel explodes. God damn, Episode 1 has some incredible visuals. A great ending to a good start for Valve's episodic trilogy. Man, if just the ending to Episode 1 is this great, I can't imagine what Episode 3's ending is gonna be like. Follow Freeman has you finally meet back up with Barney and other Resistance members to lead a charge on the Overwatch Nexus. It doesn't go well.
Pain, pain, pain. Oh shit.
The first half of this chapter's okay. I was kind of burnt on this sort of combat by this point, and also, I do not remember Barney being this annoying, but goddamn, he never shuts up.
To the roof, Gordon. Come on, Gordon. Let's head for the roof now, Gordon. Get out of the way. Roof access is this. Shut the fuck up!
The second half of this chapter, however, is where Follow Freeman hits its stride. Get it? You know, because of that Strider entrance where it burst from under the tunnel is terrifying. Oh, it's awesome. And like the Striders in general, man, just fucking cool. Just rad. The combat taking cover, then running through the streets to underground, and then through the remains of busted up buildings. City 17 is falling apart at the seams, and it makes for an epic battleground. This chapter, for my liking, starts off slow, but by the end, my lord, it's something special. Getting to the vault is just dragged out by this point, in my opinion. I'm tired of the puzzles, I'm tired of the antlines, I'm tired of the combine. Come on, guys, hustle up! The shot of the vault crashing down, though, is a bonkers visual.
Alex, are you okay? I think I just killed Gordon Freeman.
And for as much as I really want to get to the vault already, the Strider section is phenomenal. You figured you'd have to fight a Strider in VR at some point, but the game does a great job of making you forget all about that, since you've only seen them during the first 20 minutes of the game up until here. The Strider acts as an epic, practically final boss for the game, and that alone genuinely moves this level up a good 20 spots. Oops. I first started replaying On a Rail and I was like that final cutscene from Crash to Insanity. You know, On a Rail, for all these years I've been wrong about you. First of all, the music and ambience in the beginning is so cold as you enter this seemingly endless labyrinth of tunnels flooded with water and filled with military and extraterrestrial goons. I enjoy the mechanics of the signs you have to shoot to change the trajectory of your cart and having to venture off the beaten path to explore different little sections of the subway.
flash.
There's times you have to clear out certain pathways in order to move obstructions along the main path, but it's also neat that there's optional paths for you to explore if you're feeling up to it. I even forgot about this military ambush as you enter the elevator. It's a badass moment. As you push further into the transit system, you're able to spectate the ongoing struggle between the aliens and the illiterate military. Classic. On a Rail is also host to some of my favorite close quarters combat in the entire game. Making these ultra precise grenade throws will never get old. I also love the RPGs just whizzing by your fucking head. However, I feel this chapter really wears out its welcome by the time you get to the part with the crates hanging around, and by this point, you don't even need to use the tram anymore, so yeah, nah, I'm good. You can literally just walk along the sides of the tunnel and skip all this malarkey to make it outside. From there, you fight literal green army men and then launch the rocket to seal off the Zen invasion. So in that respect, the chapter picks up a bit again. On the whole, yes, it's a bit of a drag by the end, but there's a lot more here to enjoy than I remember there being. Going into this video, I was not anticipating On a Rail making its way this far up the list. Hello. Fuck off. Vicarious Reality might not be quite an S-tier level, but that's an S-tier chapter name, you gotta give it that. The observatories are such a cool setting, like these giant pens they've got going on, and then all the little labs you walk through. In some more lore, you even get to listen to a recording from one of the scientists who seemingly was a direct contributor to the resonance cascade. Dumbass. Back to the bright side though, you also get a couple of new weapons, like the barnacle grapple and another one of my favorites, the spore launcher. This thing is an absolute unit. It's so much fun. I made a note like 4 different times throughout my playthrough stating that this is my favorite weapon in the whole franchise. Opposing Force, overall, has the best arsenal of weapons and gadgets by far. Whole series, we can all agree on that at least, right? I mean, come on, how can you not?
I can't tell you how grateful I am.
Our bonds are of nature and require no gratitude.
I've never been so jealous of Alex in my life. Continuing on with not quite S-tier chapters, but S-tier chapter names, Freeman Pontifex. Also, the shot of the Combine commencing their march to White Forest as you exit the mines is it's awesome. It's so cool. One of my favorites in the whole series for sure. Now, for the actual gameplay. It was nice to get some revenge on the Antlion Guardian after it terrorized us, despite that terrorization being completely warranted, considering we literally stole from them and killed hundreds of their children.
Sorry I couldn't be more help. I'm still a little weak.
Alex, please stop it. You were just impaled and brought back from the dead with an interdimensional egg. Up ahead, we stumble upon an abandoned factory, the last outpost of Victory Mine. And across the bridge above the factory, we spot a car, which would be great to get to White Forest ASAP. So Alex covers us with a mounted gun while we venture down and through and around the factory in an attempt to make it to the car. The factory of which is filled with plenty of zombines and zombies. Nope. Not having it. Back to Alex being our eye in the sky for a second though. There's this one part where you can move panels from this roof with the gravity gun to get her a clear shot at all the critters roaming down below. I like it. It's really creative stuff. Man, fuck you. Nah, take that back. And finally, in the most creative act yet, you have to shuffle around a bunch of the abandoned cars to shift the weight of the bridge so you can take the car you're after and drive it up to the rendezvous to reunite with your Vort pal and Alex.
Our bonds are of nature and require no gratitude.
I really need to learn to be more like the Vortigons. Also, I feel like this detail throughout the rest of the episode has to be intentional. There's a few times where you say thank you to other rebels for things, and they're always like, no need to thank me, instead of, you're welcome. Almost like that our bonds are of nature and require no gratitude mindset that the Vortigons employ is rubbing off on humanity. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but I think that's really cool. Overall, better chapter than I remember, with some nice moments and pretty clever usage of mechanics here and there.
Yeah, ow, ow,
Oh yeah, here we go, baby. The best mission from Decay, and it's not even close. Zen Attacks is a secret bonus mission unlocked for both players achieving an A grade on every level in Half-Life Decay. Or by typing some Ukraine code in the console, but who would ever take a cheap way out like that? In Zen Attacks, my dreams come true as you get to play as a Vortigaunt. Oh my god, this is so much fun. You get to just mug people and zap people, bludgeon your kin. Sure, it's a straightforward chapter, but come on, man, you get to play as the Vortigons. Best part of Decay, bar none, and that puts an end to its run here on this countdown. In my opinion, Blue Shift's focal point is the best presentation of Zen we've ever gotten. I will never get over the Zen skybox, man. It's so cool. And the music just exudes Zen. It fits the vibe perfectly. Gameplay-wise, again, like all of Blue Shift, doesn't do much new here, but Zen itself is an attraction. From the surreal open cliff sides and floating aisles to cramped headcrab-filled caves, opening up to vast caverns with waterfalls raining down from above. You power up the relay station Rosenberg directed you to find before circling back to where you arrived. Again, like Captive Freight, just taking a different yet familiar path back home, which is the next chapter on our countdown, and the final chapter representing Blue Shift. After a fairly uneventful start to this expansion, Captive Freight picks things up in a big way. Escaping the drainage canals of duty calls and heading for the surface, you find yourself quickly retreating back underground after finding a fellow security guard wasted by the military who have seized control of the surface. Great depressing little detail here, as your armor in this game has to be scavenged from the corpses of security guards wasted throughout the facility. It emphasizes your status as simply an ordinary guy with no fancy power armor or military tech, and thus makes you that much more badass for getting through all of this with some standard bulletproof vests. You make your way through the alien-infested steam tunnels before stumbling upon a few more military goons who are ready to smite a scientist, and although you save him from the ultimate finishing blow, the damage is already done. He instructs you to find Dr. Rosenberg, as he may have a plan to escape the facility, but he was rounded up by the troops in the freight yard.
I'm afraid.
Along the trek to rescue him, there's great varied military combat from close-quarter staircases to wide-open shipping yards. But what's really neat about the chapter as a whole is after finally finding Rosenberg, you loop all the way back to where you found the original scientist who instructed you to go find him, but this isn't straight up backtracking. You're generally going back through the same location, but you're using different pathways that were previously locked off, neatly looping the entire chapter back together from beginning to end, while still providing a fresh experience. Rosenberg also presents some interesting insights on his thoughts of the Black Mesa incident.
We should have chosen the Lambda reactor for an escape, but the crew there is bent on fighting the creatures, with all their hopes set on someone named Freeman. Let those fools try and fight a battle they can't win. I just want to get out of here.
Rosenberg also leads you back to these old teleportation labs, and again, there's some great little attention to detail here. Rather than the retina scanners you see used to open doors elsewhere in the facility, here Rosenberg uses his fingerprints. And while you can spot a first aid and HEV station, they appear to be older models from what we've seen elsewhere throughout Black Mesa. Finally, Rosenberg drops some genuinely fascinating lore about their teleportation research and the discovery of the border world Zen, and how that's presented great challenges in attempting to streamline the teleportation process from a simple point A to point B transport, giving clear stakes to the steps in our mission to get out of here, setting up one last hurrah to Zen. Blue Shift doesn't have a bunch of new weapons or an entirely new alien race to rely on to make things interesting, but this chapter especially instead showcases a great deal of attention to finer details and a creative level structure that elegantly wraps things together. A very strong ending for Blue Shift's run here in the countdown. While I still prefer Opposing Force, I gotta admit, looking back, I think I was a little too hard on Blue Shift when I reviewed it, so I hope I did it some justice today. Half-Life Alyx, if you've never gotten the chance to play it yourself, is truly a sight to behold. Entanglement's opening shot with the Citadel looming over everything in the distance is breathtaking. The Striders scaling the city, the gunships flying over. It's hard to believe the majesty of it all if you don't play it in VR yourself. And sure, that all sounds grand, but come on, being able to feed the snark food yourself? This is what VR was made for. This chapter also, of course, introduces you to Russell, who quickly became one of my favorite characters in the whole Half-Life universe, which says a lot because there's so many great characters.
Alex, you there? You've got to get moving.
Russell? I've been in an accident.
I know! I caused it! So technically,
not an accident.
He definitely has more of a Portal style of character writing about him, which is not a bad thing, just something I felt like pointing out. His lab is super cozy, and I love the little Easter eggs sprinkled throughout. Finally, he lends you the gravity gloves, which are like a precursor to the gravity gun, and it's a great clever way of not making you have to physically bend over and down and all around to pick up every little thing. Entanglement is a perfect tutorial and intro to Half-Life Alyx as a whole. And from the beginning of Half-Life Alyx, we jump to the end with point extraction. It's that time where Valve just goes completely off the rails with trying to create as much of a visual spectacle as they can with the VR tech on deck. And they succeed. This is one of the most mind-bending, brain-melting experiences you could ever play. This is also, of course, the part where they give you jacked-up gravity weapons like they do in Half-Life 2. Only this time, they take it away from you halfway through and make you throw plain old grenades. What a tease! That actually pissed me off. At this point, I'm completely over combat where I actually have to use my brain a bit. I just want to mindlessly vaporize these guys and finally save Gordon Freeman.
Miss Vance, you wouldn't need all that to imprison Gordon Freeman.
This ending, oh man. The G-Man is always a highlight. The story-specific implications this all has on the series going forward, still not sure how I really feel about it, but in the grand scheme of things, this for sure confirms Half-Life 3. It's within our grasp. It's so close. I can smell it. Real quick, I wanted to point out something really cool that I found out yesterday while I was editing. I'm so getting bullied for this pronunciation, I feel bad. Kamagotchi? I don't know. If you're a Half-Life fan, you probably know of him. I've used clips of his animations in my videos before.
Where's my dick at? Where?
Anyway, so I was editing yesterday, and I went to my YouTube page real quick to check something. I don't even remember what, but I noticed that my community tab was highlighted. So I go to it, and I don't really notice anything at first, but then I go to the mentions tab, and I see this. And it turns out Kamagotchi made a new Half-Life animation featuring audio from my Half-Life Alyx review. Me! My voice in one of his awesome animations. I am officially a Half-Life meme. And that was like the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. So dude, if you're by any chance watching this, thank you so much. I'm genuinely super flattered and honored. Like that is, I can't put it in words. That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Thank you so much for making that. I'm not actually going to show the animation in this video because I want you guys to go directly to his video and give him the views and the recognition. So here's a screenshot of the video. I'm gonna link it in the description, pinned comment, everything. Please go watch it, it's awesome. To the White Forest follows the aftermath of Episode 1's ending, as Alyx and Gordon find themselves in a forest miles away from City 17. Number 1, a forest is seriously such a breath of fresh air for a Half-Life game. And 2, the portal storm ripping open above the Citadel is one of the coolest visuals I've ever laid eyes on. God, just look at that thing, it's extraordinary. Even saying all of that though, the introduction of Magnuson alone is what brought this chapter this high up the rankings.
I'll bet it's the Combine portal code.
Yes, I'm not deaf.
I downloaded the whole.
And even saying that, the introduction of the Hunters brings it even higher. Especially your first time playing, like, you know something is out there. You know something bad is about to happen, and then boom! Things have gotten so dire, so fast, and the stakes are immediately sent through the roof. From there, you're introduced to some new antlion variants as you enter the antlion caves. Oh my god, what the fuck? Another one of my favorite settings in the whole series. Are we sure it's only antlions down here though? Because it sounds like a Wendigo could pop out at any moment. I love To the White Forest. Episode 2 couldn't have kicked off any better. Root Canal is a super solid introduction to Half-Life 2, displaying a bit of everything you can come to expect on this new adventure. First and foremost, wanking itself off, really flaunting the new and improved physics as much as possible. Between the ragdolling, like this guard simply tumbling down the stairs, a realistic weighting of objects and puzzles, whether it be barrels and whatnot in pools of water, or the distribution of the weight of cinder blocks on seesaws, Valve was clearly very proud of everything they were able to accomplish here, and they should be. Above all else, the thing that Valve should be most proud of, though, is the fact that they found a way to create a turret section in a mid-2000s video game that doesn't feel like trying to mount a fridge.
Keep going, friend. That station was raided, but there's others up ahead.
I also love how much they established not only humanity, but even the Vortigaunts as a united front against the Combine. It's very wholesome to see. But man, I will never forget the first time I experienced this scene. My fight or flight response was on full DEFCON 1 alert.
You fucking freak! You're a freak!
On the complete opposite side of the spectrum, however, Root Canal is host to some of the most haunting ambience you'll find throughout the whole game, with charred corpses left to rot underneath the city streets. This, of course, is only a fraction of the horror Half-Life 2 has in store, so we are in for a wild ride. My only nitpick is that large portions of Root Canal can be quite cramped, which, yes, is by design, but for me it became a bit tiresome to navigate by the end. Also, fuck the manhacks.
So, this is Dr. Freeman. At last. I wish I could say this was a pleasant surprise, but it's neither a surprise nor, as you will surely agree, very pleasant. Well, I am nothing if not pragmatic.
First of all, wow. The scale of the Citadel will never not impress me. From the outside, it's this monolith that from the bottom looks like it has no top. And then on the inside, hopping into the Stalker pods, it splinters off into this endless web, redirecting in countless directions. You get a look about as close and personal as you can get at the inner workings of the Combine's operation without being in any form of danger yourself. If you didn't get it before, you get it now. The Combine's power and reach is vast, and what we've seen of them so far is hardly even a fraction of their might. But to make us feel a little better, we get to absolutely manhandle their forces with our supercharged gravity gun. I mean, it is complete luck that the confiscation chamber somehow overcharged the gravity gun, and Gordon's even luckier that any of the Stalker pods he hopped into never veered off to a place where he'd simply be incinerated, but we gotta look past these conveniences, okay?
Tell me, Dr. Freeman, if you can. You have destroyed so much. What is it exactly that you have created? Can you name even one thing? I thought not.
Undue alarm brings us right back to the scene of the crime. The exact moment not just of Dr. Breen's demise, but the implosion of the Citadel as well. The Vortigaunt swoop in not only to rescue Alex Vance, but Gordon too, much to the chagrin of the G-Man. This is the first time we've ever seen him angry?
We'll see about that.
And that's pretty scary. If you just added these last 15 seconds to the end of Half-Life 2, I feel twice as good about the ending. At least then it's a nice subversion or twist on what we had before. It'd make you think, oh, where's this gonna go? Rather than, oh, they have no clue where this is gonna go. Suddenly, you're awoken by Dog and Alex searching for you outside the Citadel, and your attention is brought to the Flying Dutchman's pocket dimension in the sky. The outskirts of the Citadel here, with ash slowly raining down, and the sun barely hovering over the horizon, is an entrancing visual. No doubt one of my favorites in the franchise. And the prospect of going back into the Citadel after what we just did is fucking crazy. But of course, we go back in anyway. The only way we know how. Once inside, we've got nothing on us but the gravity gun, which conveniently, once again, gets supercharged. There's a whole lot to like here. The Citadel is chock full of physics puzzles and brain aneurysms, combat, lore, laughs. Alex. Episode 1 started off super strong, but it was all downhill from here, as evidenced by the fact that its first level has put an end to Episode 1's run here in the rankings. No, get away from that, no! The Prospect. The Combine's stronghold of evil. Well, besides the Citadel. It's a setting Half-Life 2 has been building up to since Gordon's arrival to City 17, and it does not disappoint. I still can't get over the real-time security camera footage, man. How did they do that?
How do you do that?
And look at the way the Guardian just bulldozes the Combine and then casually strolls off like nothing happened. The Combine has taken this once high-security prison and transformed it into not just their own high-security prison, but something much worse. A transhumanist breeding ground. And anybody who disobeys the Combine, or is simply unlucky enough to be chosen to be brought here, will never be the same again. Making your way through the endless corridors and hallways of Nova Prospekt proves to be a challenge due to the surplus of soldiers and sentries.
Dude, get out of here, man! God damn it.
But having the antlions on your side does wonders for evening the odds. You're also able to listen in on a transmission directed at the Overwatch forces from Dr. Breen, who rightfully questions their ability to detain Dr. Freeman, and also sheds further light on the notion that he's aware of Gordon's stasis condition he'd been in for the previous 20 years.
How could one man have slipped through your force's fingers? Time and time again? This is not some agent provocateur or highly trained assassin we are discussing. Gordon Freeman is a theoretical physicist who had hardly earned the distinction of his PhD at the time of the Black Mesa incident. I have good reason to believe that in the intervening years, he was in a state that precluded further development of covert skills. The man you have consistently failed to slow, let alone capture, is by all standards simply that, an ordinary man. Now is the moment to redeem yourselves. The burden of proof is on you, as is the consequence of failure. I'll just leave it at that.
Questionable ethics. I love the introduction of the gorilla fuck, and I also love zodiacking everything in the room. Fuck all of you. There's some nice puzzle segments to be had here with the lasers and the GLaDOS prototype. And finally, Half-Life 1 shows off more of its great cutscenes and weaponry with the introduction of the Tau cannon. Weirdly, I don't have much to say about this chapter. I guess it just speaks for itself, but I promise I really do love this one.
Man, fuck you. Come on. Oh, fuck you too.
When I first made this list off the top of my head, I had this chapter a good chunk lower down the rankings.
Alright, enough.
And then I played it again, and I went through my notes again, and I was like, wow, this chapter's a lot more fun than I remember. Number one, the first 30 seconds of the chapter with Dog is already more fun than the entirety of the previous chapter. Unfortunately, Dog gets taken away from you very early on, but fortunately to make up for that, you join up with your dumbass companions.
Dr. Freeman? We're coming with you.
20 minutes later.
Here goes. Lead on, Freeman!
Good job, buddy. I mean, you would have been dead if not for me, but don't worry. We'll change that.
You got it, Doc.
Go ahead. You just imagine, you spend 20 years. You survived 20 years in this world, and you're just like, alright, Dr. Freeman, I got it. Don't worry, Doc. I'll scoop it out. And you're dead.
The NPCs make it super entertaining, and not only are your fellow rebels stupid as hell, but even the Combine soldiers are so dumb. These highly trained commandos just stumble ass backwards into becoming barnacle food. Once you're separated from the rebels and Alex, I kinda lose interest, but overall, still a very strong chapter. Pretty much purely because of the mischief between yourself and other characters. Work harder, not smarter. Well, that explains everything, doesn't it? Office Complex was a chapter I found fairly unremarkable the first time or two I played Half-Life 1, but playing it again here, I really liked it. There's a very unique, uncanny atmosphere about the office sector. The green-hued lighting, the checkerboard tile flooring, and the bookshelves and couches sprawled about. Just look at this corner. The vibes are just off, man. There's also a few different times you can save other NPCs from aliens if you're able to react quick enough. Sometimes you get nothing out of it other than simply feeling better about yourself, but other times you can take the people with you for help, or they can access caches you wouldn't have been able to otherwise had you not saved them.
I'm not so sure I want to go to the surface. What if the world finds out what we were doing?
You know, it's funny this guy says this, considering that nowadays people just view Gordon like he's the second coming of Christ.
You think there's a cold beer for us at the end of all this?
It's inconclusive.
For a game that's almost 30 years old, the banter between NPCs is seriously great. And then there's the freezer area, where you do a bit of fighting aliens and more platforming, but the ambience right before you enter the freezer, pun intended, is chilling. Seriously, I can feel the muscles in my neck twitching like crazy listening to this. There's nothing too complex going on in this chapter. It's still early on in the game, so it's really just continuing to build on the fundamentals, but this is classic Half-Life at its purest form, and it's nothing short of great. 100% one of the best chapter openings in Half-Life, you can't deny that. We've Got Hostiles continues to up the ante, not just with the introduction of some new toys for you to play around with, but also with new traps and hostiles for you to combat in the form of the military, here to dispatch of anyone and anything associated with the project.
I killed 12 dumbass scientists and not one of them fought back. This sucks.
I love these meatheads. It's a great escalation of the stakes, proving the presence of the human military to be just as great a threat as that of the unknown Zen creatures. But with that said, the biggest threat here is clearly myself.
Rescued at last. Thank God you're here.
I do hate that vent section though. No matter how many times I've played this, I still get lost around there for at least 10 minutes.
We now have direct confirmation of a disruptor in our midst, one who has acquired an almost messianic reputation in the minds of certain citizens. His figure is synonymous with the darkest urges of instinct, ignorance, and decay. Some of the worst excesses of the Black Mesa incident have been laid directly at his feet, and yet unsophisticated minds continue to imbue him with romantic power, giving him such dangerous poetic labels as the One Free Man, the Opener of the Way. Let me remind all citizens of the dangers of magical thinking. We have scarcely begun to climb from the dark pit of our species' evolution. Let us not slide backward into oblivion, just as we have finally begun to see the light. If you see this so-called free man, report him. Complicity with his cause will not go unpunished. Be wise. Be safe. Be aware.
Water Hazard seems to be one of the more controversial chapters in the franchise. Some people love it, some people hate it, and I can absolutely see why this chapter would feel tedious, but yeah, I love it. I mean, come on, how couldn't you? It's a better version of On a Rail. More world building, more interesting environments, better combat, better puzzles, better vehicles, except this part. This is like the 4th time I've played Half-Life 2, and I still cannot get this jump right first try. Never. I also love that there's all these optional little secret puzzles and routes to take to acquire more ammo and health, and also just gain knowledge about the world. The greatest source of knowledge to be found around here, of course, being the all-knowing Vortigaunt. There's also such a sense of coziness to me with some of these pit stops you make, like the hideout with the windmill and the hidey hole underground. Can I live here? Am I a dirty little sewer rat? A skeever, perhaps? Why does this feel so homey to me? Water Hazard also flexes one of the most diverse and varied color palettes you'll find throughout all of Half-Life 2. I mean, even for a game from 2004, that golden hour washing over the river bend is breathtaking. And capping off the chapter by taking down the chopper that's been tormenting you the whole way through is the cathartic cherry on top. Unfortunately, much greater torment looms over the horizon. Sand traps bothers me. What do you mean it bothers you? You have it like 20th on the list. Yes, it bothers me because the first 15 minutes of it is basically just more Highway 17. But it isn't. It's sand traps. Sand traps in my mind always starts with Laszlo, but it actually starts far before then, which frankly doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense. Luckily, I love the lighthouse section, so I guess that works in this chapter's favor. Linking up with the resistance members to fight the waves of Combine soldiers capped off by taking down their gunships with an RPG is a lot of fun, and then you get treated to this great view from the cliffside of the lighthouse's secret exit. Oh man, it's so cool. More on that later. You then have the privilege of meeting the finest mind of our generation. If this is our finest mind, no wonder humanity's doomed. He's laying directly in the antlion-infested sand, in a level called Sand Traps. You comfy there, buddy? You gonna sip on a margarita too? And for a chapter that already starts off great, it just gets better and better as it goes. You vanquish an antlion guardian and are then escorted by a Vortigaunt back to his camp.
The Freeman must excuse us. It is rude of us to commune by flux shifting in front of those whose vortal inputs are impaired. Yes, we'll vocalize in your auditory language as a matter of courtesy. Unless we wish to say unflattering things about you. Just so. Do it.
The Vortigaunt then helps you out by supplying you with pheropods, which are used to summon antlions to aid you in combat, who you'll definitely need the assistance of as you make the push for Nova Prospekt.
No way. That actually worked.
The combat in this chapter on the whole, I think's gotta be my favorite in the entire game. It's certainly one of the most intense instances of it at the very least, and the music backing all this mayhem ain't bad either. The infiltration of Nova Prospekt is an absolute blast. I didn't remember sand traps being so much fun, but it's one of the best Half-Life 2 chapters, no doubt about it.
You're heading your way.
What's that? What? You're heading our way? Well, I should hope so.
Magnuson's such a brilliant asshole. I can't wait to see him again in Half-Life 3. Can you imagine what the interactions between him and Russell would be like? Anyway, riding shotgun is another chapter I'm like, damn, I forgot how good this one is. It is absolutely stacked. They've really built up the hunters well to this point. Of course, the Striders are the most physically imposing and destructively capable of the Combine's forces we've seen so far, but after seeing the hunters so brutally and intimately almost kill Alex, their reemergence here truly fills you with dread, and there's an extra level of catharsis to getting some revenge on them. But just as you've dealt with what was believed to be the worst of the Combine's forces so far, you soon run into something much worse. The Combine Advisor is officially unveiled in one of the creepiest and most alien scenes in the whole series. I know it sounds weird to say this is one of the most alien scenes, considering all the Zen creatures and all the Combine forces to this point are alien or manipulated by alien forces, but there's an extra sense of unknown here. Pretty much everything we faced so far has a sense of familiarity to it. This feels like something completely otherworldly, and the mystique is amplified by the Advisor's unique psychic abilities like its levitation, its telekinesis, and its tongue cock. By the will of God, you're saved from becoming Advisor kibble, but unhatching the critter has alerted your presence to all the Combine forces in the area, leading to a big old car chase getaway.
Okay, excuse me. Sorry. Almost got it. Cut the wheel. There we go.
Oh, crap!
Take it down!
It's not safe here.
Oh, really? You think?
The chapter's capped off by this awesome chopper section where you use the gravity gun to hurl the bombs it attempts to drop on you right back at it to take it down.
Jesus.
It's a very hectic and climactic finish to a fantastic chapter.
Good morning, and welcome to the Black Mesa Transit System.
Black Mesa Inbound. One of my favorite openings to a game of all time. Creating so much mystery and intrigue. A hypnotizing, palpable sense of calm before the storm. I remember my imagination ran wild, wondering what exactly this strange place could be, what its purpose might be, and what all these machines and people were doing. Whatever it all meant, I couldn't wait to find out. As you gradually venture deeper into the facility, cracks begin to show. Barrels of acid spilled all over, equipment malfunctioning, reports of system failures, Barney unable to access his sector.
Open the door or I'm gonna...
This intro does a phenomenal job of presenting this top secret setting featuring things far more advanced than you probably feel you should be seeing, while still displaying just enough gone awry here for a sinking feeling to start settling in your gut. A feeling that maybe it's not just you who's out of your depth here, but everyone else is as well. And then that sinking feeling expands to become a sink in the very fabric of time and space. The resonance cascade rips the Black Mesa facility apart. Imagery of alien life forms flashing as you teleport between the dimensions. Everybody around here shrugged off the countless warning signs of an impending catastrophe that could have been entirely avoided, but was instead brought into existence because of their own hubris. And thus, the genesis of a haunting journey. A journey that will only prove to be that much more daunting as time goes on. With the stage set, our journey truly begins with unforeseen consequences. Well, unforeseen to anybody who's not a complete moron! I remember the first time I played this chapter, I thought these mutant zombies were like this weird glitch that happened from our dimension and Zen combining together. Like there was a total mishmash in reality itself that morphed these creatures together and the game would continue to glitch back and forth between realities, but no, they're actually just crab zombies. Anyway, yeah, so after the resonance cascade that nobody could have possibly ever seen coming, the whole facility has fallen into complete Armageddon. Corpses everywhere, zombies everywhere, explosions everywhere. It's not all bad, though. There are survivors here and there. You can even wait around to spectate a scientist reviving a security guard. This chapter does a bit of everything, perfectly laying the foundation for what you can anticipate from the game going forward. It introduces the companionship between you and other NPCs, how you can expect to combat enemies for the most part, whether that be meleeing with what would become your signature crowbar, or with the simple but satisfying gunplay, and in a bit of an odd turn of events, Unforeseen Consequences implements the most challenging mechanic you'll come across for the rest of the entire franchise. Ladders. Now that is unforeseen. Fuck. Much like Pitworm's Nest was the blast pit of opposing force, Foxtrot Uniform is like the surface tension of opposing force. Unlike the former, though, this is a great knockoff. First of all, you're reacquainted with your dumbass meathead bros, which is always a good thing.
Sniper school sure paid off today.
I know I just killed that thing with a sniper, but I'm gonna choose to believe that you're just mocking your dumbass friend over here. Speaking of snipers though, yes, you also acquire a sniper in this chapter. Yet another fantastic weapon to add to your arsenal. And while you'll be combating plenty of Black Ops and aliens yourself, you'll be able to see the Black Ops losing the battle to Race X themselves. Like how you saw the army attempting to fight off Zen creatures in Half-Life 1. Also, one of the Black Ops here just lobbed a grenade up and ran straight over to it and killed himself. What are you doing? And I know it's ironic that I call this section the surface tension of opposing force, considering most of the tension here comes from underground. The sewer section is fucking horrifying. This sector is overflowing with combat and it's awesome. One of the best sections in the whole franchise. Not even your night vision goggles, which even the sun is only a fraction as bright of, can comfort you in this dank scorpion-filled dungeon. You also fight their babies. As you resurface, you continue to fight off the other invading alien force with the help of your... You motherfucker! You also get to blow up a bridge with a Gargantua on it at the very end, the same bridge that was near the beginning of surface tension back in Half-Life 1. So yeah, Foxtrot Uniform is opposing force firing on all cylinders. It wasn't quite good enough to crack the top 10, but it still ended a really respectable run for opposing force.
Do you need a minute? Because, I mean, I could pause the feed.
Just looking, Russ.
Once again, the view as you step out of the train and set sight on the quarantine zone is breathtaking. Literally, the smoke pollutes your lungs and destroys your ability to breathe. There's these giant metallic walls sealing off crumbling apartment buildings with a dark smog filling the sky above. This is brilliant game design to show that danger. The most gnarly detail of all are the zombies you're able to get a good look at up and close. It's amazing and disgusting. Ugh.
Last chance to look at me, Hector.
Also, the healing station squeezing the healing juices out of the antlion grubs and piercing your hand. God, I forgot how cool this game is. Inside the QZ is also such a repulsive area. I mean, if Valve won't let us go back to Zen, I appreciate them bringing Zen to us. Until I don't. But as cool as everything else here is, the main highlight of this chapter has to be the brain-injured Vortigaunt.
Oh.
Yay! I have a brain injury.
I'm sorry, Dan.
My brain is injured.
That's terrible,
Ow.
and I hope...
He, just like every other Vortigaunt, is the fucking man.
Are you done helping?
I am not. Here. Sustenance.
Yay!
I'll eat it later. Thanks for the help.
Thank you.
You will be welcome.
Oh, Jesus. You don't know how close you were to getting one between the eyes.
Although I do admittedly prefer the Black Mesa iteration of this chapter, the original power-up is still great. Just when you think you can take a breather after dealing with the last monstrosity, you're thrown right back into the fire with another beast from the border world. And while the tentacles were contained within the silo, the Gargantua here makes its presence felt in each passing corridor you venture through, constantly shaking the very foundation of the facility's walls around you. The ambience all throughout is incredibly unsettling. I love it. And on top of having to deal with this asshole, you also get reacquainted with humans, who are even bigger assholes than this big asshole. The Gargantua meets a cathartic, climactic end, clearing the way for you to head on to the rail system.
This is my hiding spot, and I'm not moving until the situation is drastically improved. Now go away, and don't tell anyone I'm here.
Blast Pit is almost everything you could possibly love about Half-Life 1. A fun little tram ride to kick things off, slinging you into labyrinthian acid-filled tunnels, but that fun comes to a screeching halt as the mood builds to something much more menacing than the alien pests you've encountered so far.
No! Get it off me! Get it out! Get it out!
Interdimensional eldritch monstrosities, creative platforming and physics puzzles, jam-packed combat, and of course, the eternally endearing Half-Life dialogue.
Destroy the damned thing before it grows any larger. Stop!
I do miss the music Black Mesa had here though when the tentacles died, but nonetheless, the cherry on top of Blast Pit is the acquisition of the Magnum at the very end. A simple, but goated weapon. Blast Pit isn't quite Half-Life 1 at its absolute peak, but it's cutting it very close. Back to Half-Life Alyx, we've got is or will be. First and foremost, the Turkey Club story is incredible. Seriously, one of my favorite monologues from like anything ever. Beyond that though, there's a lot that goes on here. Between obtaining the shotgun in this neat physics segment, the introduction of a couple different head crabs, one of which is completely unique to this game, then you acquire the flashlight from this zombie that's morphing into the environment in this horrifically nasty looking way. You've got to successfully navigate an explosives-filled maze, you combat the Combine for the first time, and last but not least, the chapter's capped off with the train derailment, which is an insane spectacle to watch unravel. And the ominous appearance of the advisors here is such a nice touch. Oh my god, how could I forget? You've also got the Vortigaunt saving Eli and saying I love you. Fantastic shit. Out of all of Alyx's chapters, I'd say this one is the one I had the most fun, but there's one Alyx chapter left that is simply far more impactful and cannot be denied. Point insertion. One of the eeriest, most unsettling, and ominous video game openers of all time, which I have the knowledge to compare against the likes of Crash Twinsanity. But seriously, I mean, come on. Literally, every line of this opening cutscene is iconic.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. No one is more deserving of a rest. Your hour has come again. The right man in the wrong place. So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and...
Go fuck yourself!
Half-Life 1 did an incredible job setting the stage, but Half-Life 2's opening creates a whole nother level of intrigue. Where are we? When are we? Who are these people? What are those people? Who is this geek? And why are the Vortigaunts cleaning? These aliens that led the charge in ravaging the Black Mesa facility and were hot on their way to taking over the planet have now been reduced to janitors? No diss against janitors, by the way. Put some goddamn respect on their name, but, you know, Vortigaunts and their ability to tap into the vortescence and their coterminousness with the universe and their abilities to apparently warp time and space and heal, and this just seems like a step down for them, you know? But the weirdest thing of all is that it's not some alien overlord who's commanding Earth now. Seemingly, it's some ordinary guy acting on behalf of this mysterious new empire's wishes, pushing their propaganda on the general populace about why not the Combine, but our own instinct, is the greatest threat to humanity. And reproduction, the very thing that literally keeps our species healthy and alive, is our greatest detriment. Our duty to create a better world for ourselves and create a better world to leave for our children and future generations who will come after us is perhaps our greatest purpose in life, and instead, the Combine has prohibited the very concept of life after this, leaving behind nothing but the echoes of the prosperity before us. Instinct isn't a detriment, and our blatant disregard of it cost us everything on that day.
If you would take the Freeman from here, I can return to my place of honor at the side of the Magnuson.
Our Mutual Fiend is another incredibly eventful chapter. It has us finally reunite with Eli, Kleiner, and of course, Dr. Magnuson.
Freeman, you're not doing anything. Make yourself useful and find out what the hell is going on in there.
There's also Vortigons and lab coats here.
The Magnuson has instructed me to admit you into the secondary silo.
Yeah, I changed my mind. This is number 1. Naturally, as soon as we arrive to base, it gets breached by the Combine's army, leading to one of the more diverse combat sequences in the franchise as you crawl under vents, navigate narrow corridors, plunge underwater before resurfacing and vertically scaling up the silo, before lastly manning a turret as you mow down their forces while resealing the silo doors. Here, you also finally decrypt Judith's message and learn that she's made her way to the Arctic and uncovered the Borealis, officially linking the worlds of Portal and Half-Life as one. Man, that is awesome. I can't wait to see how they follow up with that. Who am I kidding? We have Entropy Zero. We don't even need Half-Life 3 anymore, right guys? Regardless, this is still one of the best cutscenes in the series, not just because of that, but also because of the G-Man seemingly speaking directly through Alex here in a chilling moment.
Prepare for unforeseen consequences.
What did you say?
Dad!
Also leading to the revelation that Eli is fully aware of that conniving prick's existence. The rest of this chapter goes off with an absolute bang as you take your scout car out to the field in the ultimate defense mission against an army of Striders and Hunters heading for the silo, with their sights on destroying your rocket that would seal off the Combine's invasion once and for all. It's the most difficult and sweaty combat section in the franchise. 10 out of 10.
We did it! We held them off! Good work, everyone!
Well, I see the Magnuson device performed flawlessly. I feel compelled to thank you personally for saving my rocket. So, thank you. Well, that's enough chit-chat. I've got a rocket to launch.
Wow. For a minute there, I thought you were gonna get a hug.
And moving right on from there, we've got chapter T-1. We launch our rocket, it's a smashing success, everything is so good, we're heading to the Arctic to rescue Judith, and everything is going just fine.
Dad, please.
Oh, fuck. I mean, come on, man, where do you even begin with this? It doesn't matter how much I've watched this scene, it still drives me to, at the very least, the verge of tears.
Oh my god. No. Don't leave me.
Oh, God. Gets me every time. This was a very complicated one to rank because of the complicated place it ultimately put Half-Life in. It put the series into stasis for 13 years. For fans of the franchise who have been waiting since this moment to get a proper continuation, and no offense Half-Life Alex, because you are brilliant, not a prequel, this ending in more ways than one is soul-crushing. But it's also so interesting in the way that it is added to the mythos of Half-Life and made this series, I'm inclined to say, so much bigger than maybe it would have ever been had they simply continued on and released episode 3 back in 2008 or 9 or whatever like it was supposed to be. Because even with the release of Half-Life Alyx, the infamous question still remains. Where is Half-Life 3? That question is what brought me to this series to begin with. It's what made me aware of Half-Life's existence at all. And if Half-Life 3 wasn't spoken about like some myth and was just released like it should have been, who knows if I would have even checked this series out as soon as I did. Because at that point, it wouldn't be this legend that it's become. It'd just be another phenomenal gaming franchise. I know that sounds stupid, but you get what I'm trying to say though, right? I don't know. Like I said, it's complicated. And now we are on to the top 5. These are the best of the best. From the beginning stages of planning this video, I knew immediately that these would be the top 5. It was undisputed, it was always going to be this way. So I am very, very excited to talk about these final levels. They've brought me jubilation beyond measure. Half-Life 2 is one of the most atmospheric games I've ever played. And for me, there may be no setting I'm more drawn to than Highway 17. This chapter starts off really funny, with you just getting dunked on your head while inside a car from a crane.
Sorry, Doc.
This lady almost killed the leader of the Resistance, and it's got me imagining all the other Resistance members like, you almost killed Gordon Freeman, it's a miracle you can fucking walk! This chapter is awesome. For starters, it excellently showcases just how much the Combine has siphoned the planet for everything it's worth, draining the ocean water, leaving Zen wildlife to infest the area. Nothing remains but wrecked boats and ships and deserted shore houses scattered along the shoreline. The road along the coast is littered with abandoned cars, and the highway infrastructure is barely holding it together at this point. Resistance groups are scarcely spread along the remaining key coastal villages like Lighthouse Point, and of course,
New Little Odessa. Gordon Freeman, volunteers.
And sure, the crane sections are fun, and the airship sections are fun, and venturing off into little abandoned houses is fun, but what really puts this chapter over the top for me is the bridge section. In a franchise full of top-secret government facilities, excursions to other dimensions, and Ravenholm, this bridge is somehow the most surreal setting of them all. Not because there's anything crazy going on, besides the gunships, but because it's so ordinary. When you think of the end of the world, a lot of us, I'm sure, imagine chaos so loud and destruction so dark and gritty. And there is a lot of that in this world. But what comes after the chaos? What's it like when you're not caught up in the midst of it? What's left is this cold, quiet solitude. The sun still rises the next day. A vast ocean remains beneath your feet, and the world keeps spinning, the same as it ever has. The phantoms of humanity remain, and life beyond us unflinchingly moves forward, even when it feels like it's all coming to an end. And there's something hauntingly beautiful about that. I mean, yeah. Of course this is the top Half-Life 1 chapter. Hell, many would consider it the best chapter of the entire franchise, and for good reason. Surface tension has everything. I could do without the puckered anuses plastered all over the ground, though. Iconic music, which has become the music that kicks off every Valve game. Legendary cinematics, dorky-ass NPCs. Plenty of diverse environments. Stealth platforming, you know, the good kind of platforming in this game. While we're here, I just want to highlight this tiny little detail that I'm obsessed with for whatever reason. As you enter the main portion of the stealth area, there's like this 80s style horror / thriller stinger that plays. It's such a minor thing, but I find it so cool, and I just wanted to bring it up. Alright, back to the kick-ass action, whether it be military or alien combat, which, by the way, the environmental storytelling in this chapter is stellar. Surveying the scene as the aliens slowly overpower the might of the military, it just tells everything. Surface tension also, in my opinion, showcases the pinnacle of the NPC and enemy AI to be had in this game, which is funny I say that considering this also happens in this chapter.
He thinks he's so great. I'ma show him. Ah, goddammit! Alright. Go for the left. He won't see me coming from the
Between the scripted snark sequence where the military sniffs you out in the vents and fires at you from below, or the different doorways you can access with the help of security guards you save, it's very memorable and enjoyable stuff. This is the peak of the AI capabilities Half-Life 1 has to offer. You also get the Hive Hand in this chapter, which I took a steaming shit on in my Half-Life 1 review, but back then, I was also a steaming shithead. Now that I actually kinda know what I'm doing, the Hive Hand's pretty cool, and I think the snarks are now too. They sound like Futurism by Muse. Oh, right.
Yeah, that's right. Get out of here. Tell your friends. Don't come back.
Oh, Jeffrey. Where do I even begin with you? I don't ever want to play this chapter again. and I haven't played it again since the first time I did, but to have this chapter make me react the way I did, and leave the lasting impact on me that it did, I can't put it any lower than the top 3. I could attempt to put into words how exactly this section made me feel, but I think it's best if I just straight up rehash my footage from my Half-Life Alyx review and let you watch for yourself. Like any good horror section, stealth is paramount to your survival.
Holy shit. This is a straight up horror section, dude.
Our first order of business was to get over to that wheel to crank the door open ahead.
Oh, don't do that! It's good, Jeff. Fuck you, Jeff! Fucker! Shit! How do I distract him for that long? That's it! I gotta lure him in here! Of course!
In my panic-ridden state, I somehow seemingly forgot that I have 2 hands.
I gotta close the door, close the door. No, close it! Close it! Come back! Close the fucking... God damn it! Close it! Please! Alex, you dumbass! Jesus Christ. Why couldn't you do that the first time?
Because you needed to use 2 hands, you fucking idiot.
No! What are you doing?
I finally got the door open and raced to the elevator to call it down, which obviously didn't work. That was to be expected. This was not.
Oh, are you... You gotta be shitting me! You gotta be shitting me! Ain't no fucking way! Nuh-uh!
So, of course, you know what this means. It's time for some goddamn electrical puzzles. The typical run the wires through the wall bullshit.
This is gonna turn on the power and open the door somehow, isn't it?
Close. But worse.
Wait a second. No, 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 no. Don't tell me I have to go back in there. That's exactly what I gotta do, isn't it? Oh my god. This is diabolical. This is pure evil. Okay, Jeff? I've given you a chance to calm down. I think you can come out of timeout.
I eventually got the elevator powered back up again without accidentally also setting off the siren in the freezer. Valve, you guys are such assholes.
No! You stupid siren, you goddamn ratted me out!
But of course, just my luck. I snuck inside the half-open elevator, and when I got it powered up, Jeff made his way inside as well.
Oh my god, he's stuck in here with me.
You then have to very quietly walk up right next to Jeff and hit the elevator button to go to the next floor. I hate it. I hated this part so much! But what came next, I hated the most of all. You now need to find 3 batteries to open this giant door in the ground that leads to the zoo. And you need to grab the 3 batteries while Jeff patrols the entire room. The first battery wasn't so bad to grab, though ladders continued to prove themselves to be the greatest Half-Life enemy.
Oh my god, get me up, please. Please, can I get up? Get up! Ugh. Me too!
The second battery was in another small room nearby that's been barricaded from the other side with a chair. So you have to very carefully move the chair without making any noise. I'm sure you could tell by now that I don't have a fight or flight response. I just freeze. Once I finally got in the room quietly, I retrieved the second battery no problem. No issues whatsoever.
You motherfuckers. Go away!
The third and final battery was the biggest pain in the ass to get though, as it was locked behind another wheel-operated door where the wheel was already severed from the door, so you had to slowly remove it from this rail, make sure you're not clonking it all over the place to alert Jeff, and then you have to slowly turn it and try to grab the battery without alerting Jeff.
I was so close.
Oh yeah, you already know I was saving my game every 15 seconds. I have no shame about that. What matters is that I finally got the third battery, and I could finally get the hell out of here.
Get up! Get up! Get up! You fucking idiot!
Well, I shit out my own spine after all that, but it was worth it to be finally done with Jeff. Oh my fucking god, that's it! Get in the fucking bin!
Get fucked, Jeff! You piece of shit! Fuck you! Fuck you, Jeff! Eat shit! That's what I'm talking about! That's what it's all about! Get fucked, Jeff! I haven't felt so alive in years because of your death! Oh yeah. Oh!
Oh my god, Jeff, are you okay?
Oh, poor Jeff.
Oh shit.
If it wasn't clear enough how this section made me feel, let me put it to you like this. Jeff exhibited the most pure, evil, absolutely diabolical game design I've ever had the displeasure of playing through. It feels like Valve is literally trolling you for a majority of the section. For as much as I hated playing through it though, in my mind there is no denying that not only is it far and away the best part of this game, but arguably the best chapter in the entire Half-Life franchise. Maybe that's a video discussion for another time.
Foreshadowing. Told ya!
Man, there is nothing quite like stepping into Ravenholm for the first time. What started out as a small resistance mining town, it was savagely bombarded with the Combine's weaponization of headcrabs, not just killing many of the town's inhabitants, but transforming them into mindless monsters. Though there is enough evidence that you can make the argument that they're anything but mindless. Ravenholm is the ultimate embodiment of the horrors this new Combine world presents. A near cartoonishly evil gothic nightmare, accentuated by the presence of the laughably insane shotgun-wielding pastor, Father Grigori.
What? Who is this? Another life to save? I'll keep my eye on you. More than that, I cannot promise.
We wanted like a horror area, since in a lot of ways Half-Life was a horror game, and the horror was kind of leaching out of Half-Life 2. So we at least wanted one environment that was just scary. And then we had a design meeting where Doug Woods said, you know, preacher with a shotgun, and I was like, oh, yes.
There really is something about the idea of a preacher with a shotgun that just gets a caveman-like, visceral out of me. Come on, baby! Grigori eventually gifts you a shotgun to make your own, but Ravenholm really nudges you to get as creative as possible using the gravity gun as a weapon. I mean, cans of paint won't do much, but it's pretty funny that they can do that. Ravenholm also encourages you to use all of Grigori's traps you strung up and laid out around town. The shotgun really should be saved for one enemy, and one enemy only. God damn these things, man. I mean, I've gotten used to them, I guess, as time has gone on, but I'll never forget that primal fear that spiked within me the first time I encountered these freaks. There's also these big bumbling tumors which have had the opposite effect on me. They used to not bother me so much, and now they just freak me out more and more every time I see them. Throughout the town, not only does Grigori act as your eye in the sky, but you'll also come across rooms where he was seemingly examining the zombies, trying to understand how they function and perhaps figure out a way to revert these people whose faces he remembers back to the people they once were. The final push to escape Ravenholm, where you're waiting for the lift to arrive and you have to fend off the fast zombies scaling the pipes trying to get to you, again, now doesn't bother me that much. But the first time I played this, I was like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And it feels so great to fight side by side with Grigori through the cemetery before he sends us off in a blaze of glory. Or should I say, a blaze of Grigori. The mines aren't as scary as you'd expect, but there is another trap down here that's pretty fucking awesome. And that moment of relief as you emerge from the mines, out of Ravenholm, and step back into the sunlight, basking in that morning glow, is so healing. Finally, the game rewards you for enduring that gauntlet with a new weapon in the form of the pulse rifle, the AR-2. Ravenholm is without question one of the best chapters in the whole franchise, and arguably the most iconic. But there's one chapter that I personally enjoyed just that little bit more. Alright, shades off. It's time to be serious. I just want to say, if you stuck around to this point, thank you so much. This video has been a gargantuan effort, so I really appreciate your time. And also, I don't normally ask. This is a special occasion. This is the biggest video I've ever done. If you've enjoyed, please consider leaving a like or leaving a dislike if you haven't enjoyed. If you think I'm an idiot, tell me in the comments. If you agree with my ranking, tell me in the comments. Which, by the way, be honest, I want you to comment right now. What's your prediction for the #1 spot? Have you been keeping track? Have you honestly been able to tell what the #1 spot is about to be, or are you about to be completely shocked? Okay, enough rambling. We've waited long enough. My favorite level in all of Half-Life is...
No offense, Freeman, but things were pretty quiet until you showed up.
this Vortal Coil. I could have spent 2 hours just talking about this chapter alone. You might be thinking, what? But a third of it's a turret defense section. You hated entanglement. That's true. Can't deny that at all. Counterpoint. Griggs and Checkley. The two best side characters this series has to offer. I mean, come on, man.
No! I got 10!
Yeah, well, we all got 10. There's hundreds of them. Hey, if you see a bug on me, how about you try to get it off next time?
I didn't see it!
Yeah, no, sure. They're only like 5 feet tall.
Check.
What?
Checkley!
What?
Forget it.
Yes, this chapter starts out slow, but I just get such a kick out of the juxtaposition between these two boneheads losing their shit, while I'm literally Luigi doing nothing and winning.
Oh shit.
The antlions, of course, are also quite faster than the slow-chugging Combine, so naturally they are much better suited to the chaotic nature of a turret defense section. And inevitably, the fight eventually kicks up like 12 notches and becomes my favorite battle in the series, going to war alongside these goofs and the Vortigaunts. Because of fucking course, you add the Vortigaunts to anything and it will make that thing minimum 100 times better.
Ah! Those bugs sure mess with the wrong slugs.
And this is only one of like 3 chapters you get to fight side by side with them, so not that they ever would, but they don't overstay their welcome. To top it all off, this mayhem is backed by the single best song in all of Half-Life. I mean, wow. What an amazing chapter. And that's only like the first third of it! Next, we need to revive Alex, so the second section of this Vortal Coil has us delve deeper into the antlion caves to retrieve
the larval extract. Oh, yes. The extract. Please, Freeman. Join the escape. Yes.
With a Vortigaunt accompanying your every step while being the best hype man in the multiverse along the way. Even when you're being an absolute klutz, the Vortigaunt still finds a way to compliment you.
What did the Freeman expect to find down there? Truly, the Freeman leaves no path unexplored.
Did you not get enough of a fill fighting off waves of enemies earlier? Guess what? You and your best new Vort buddy get to do it again! And it's awesome! Look at him go, man! What a specimen! Is he not the coolest motherfucker on the planet?
The ancient.
Oh no. This is where shit gets real. In the final act of this Vortal Coil, we must venture alone to find a way to escort our Vortigaunt pal down to the Extract Hive. But the Extract will also be rendered useless if we kill the Guardian. So in the meantime, our only options are to run or hide. It's 2 AM. I should not be playing this right now. Oh god. Oh, fuck you.
I somehow found myself in a situation like this in real life, I think I would just kill myself.
It's some of the most heart-pumping horror the franchise has to offer. Jeff is of course the pinnacle of horror in the Half-Life universe, but this is still really good stuff. Nothing fancy about it. It simply takes advantage of that primal fear of being chased that we all have, with each of the Guardian's footsteps thudding louder and louder and louder before you escape. But every time you spot a hole to tuck away in, it still feels like you might not make it there in time. After barely escaping the Guardian's stomping grounds with your life, you lower the elevator for your Vort pal.
I descend.
At long last, you arrive at the antlion nest and retrieve the extract.
Let's get out of here.
It's a very zen moment, pun intended. The serene music here accentuating the idea that this is the key to bring calmness back to the chaos after what Alex and all of us have just been through. Episode 2's been off to a blazing hot, chaotic start. And the worst of it is over now. We've saved Alex's life. But at what cost?
Dr. Freeman.
The G-Man puts the bow on this Vortal Coil with what is, again personally, my favorite speech of his in the whole series. One, because his appearance simply caught me by complete surprise the first time I played. Yes, I know I said that about the end of Half-Life 2 as well, but here it was complete surprise, because this was in the middle of the game and not the end. After Half-Life 2, it was like, okay, yeah, so he'll show up at the end of every game, but here, the status quo is thrown all out of whack. And two, this speech is my favorite because of what he has to say and how he says it. He's no longer talking with this calm sense of control he had before while waxing poetic and making vague, open-ended promises. After the Vortigaunt saved us, he's now addressing Gordon with an air of malice. Many of his speeches before contained no background noise or was simply environmental ambience, but here there's this sinister, metallic hum that rattles on throughout his monologue. He instructs you to lead Alex to White Forest before relaying an ominous warning. His final words of which being the origins of every Half-Life fan's anguish for the last 18 years.
Prepare for unforeseen consequences.
Okay, Freeman. Be adequate.
What the hell does that mean, anyway?
I don't know. Sounds like something the Vorts would say.
So to recap, best action, yes. Best music, yes. Best comedy, yes. Best NPCs, yes. Best horror, close enough. Best G-Man, yes. Vortigaunts, hell yeah! This Vortal Coil is everything. And I mean everything you could possibly love about Half-Life condensed into a single chapter. It certainly is for me, at least. And with that, this Vortal Coil is my favorite Half-Life level, and in my opinion, the best level the franchise has to offer.
Dr. Freeman, Alex Vance is over here. The board's trying to patch her up. No!